Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be working on a Jacquemus-inspired swimsuit that I saw on the show White Lotus. And a lot of people were commenting on TikTok like where that swimsuit was from because it's such a beautiful, classy looking swimsuit. I want to see if I can recreate it. So I'm going to do this tutorial and hopefully you guys like it so that you guys can create your own. I do have a baby pink fabric that's very similar to the one that they use on the show, and it's super soft as well, so hopefully it comes out the way that that Jacquemus made the design, so follow along. So anyway, it's basically just two pieces. It's kind of like a thong on the back, but it's like fully covered in the back, and it's also a squared shape here on the front with like a high thigh opening. So I have this pattern from another swimsuit that I've made before, and there's pieces that I can use from it. So I kind of use the front part a little bit because my design also has a high leg opening, so I used that part, and then I just went ahead and drafted this part up here. Super easy. And then I'm going to do the back and show you guys the process of how I made this pattern so that you guys can recreate it at home as well. But I have this muslin fabric, so I can cut a piece. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, so I got this piece of fabric, this muslin piece of fabric, and this one is long enough for that. And then we're going to use this kind of like a guide. The back self piece. I'm sorry, the front self piece, we're going to use it kind of like a guide. And I don't want to waste fabric, so I just did it all the way to the edge. But basically, what we need to do is we're going to cut all right there. And I always save these scraps of fabric because I use them either for my beading projects or other things. So we don't want to be wasteful. Okie dokie. So okay, I'm just kind of cutting the edges off. But let's see, I'm going to take it off the mannequin, and I'm just going to on the table. The back part is a thong, so definitely I just wanted the front piece to kind of trace that out for the upper back, because the swimsuit from the back is a squared shape also, but then it like kind of goes in like a thong. So I just want to make sure that I do it right. But anyway, that's how I'm doing that. Okay, we just need to trace out just this part right here. Be different from the back. So I gotta look at the picture. Okay, so the back part, I'm just going to, we no longer need the front piece. I just wanted to mark the back squared shape. But for the bottom part, what I did is I'm just gonna mark here and here where I did this slit so that we know where the pieces are gonna like join. And I'm just going to mark where that goes, where they have that. But basically this is my guide right here. This part is this part. So I just need to, let me separate this because I have the self and the lining. So we're gonna use the self part. And this is where this is marked right there. So that's kind of like my guide for that. And I'm just going to mark it like this, even though it's going, I'm gonna adjust it because it's actually supposed to be a thong from the back. But I just want to go ahead and do that so that I can just get the right shape and cut it from there. So now that I have drafted the silhouette of the bottom back piece, I am actually just fixing the thong part. I'm making it a little bit smaller because it was too big. And I'm also adjusting the side boob opening as well as the leg opening because it is a bit on the higher side. So I just want to make sure that I get that right. So I'm folding this pattern in half to make sure that I cut it even on both sides since we're going to be sewing it with the lining. So we're doing the self and the lining. And this is the pattern that I came up with, the back piece and the front piece. And this is the fabric that I had in the fabrics that I had. So I wanted to use it for this project. It's a light pink. It looks a little brighter here, but it's actually a little bit lighter. So I just did face-to-face fabric so that I could cut the self and the lining. Usually the lining is supposed to be a little bit smaller so that when we add the elastic it's not kind of like in the way, but it's actually fine. For this project I just cut face-to-face double fabric, and so I'm cutting the self and the lining at the same time just to kind of save me some time. And also whenever you're cutting, just make sure that you put paper underneath your fabric so that it cuts evenly. That honestly helps a lot when you're cutting. That little trick, just always try to use some paper. I'm using some recycled paper because I tend to save a lot of like pattern or marker paper that I'm not using any longer, and I just use it whenever I need to cut a sample or a project out. You will start sewing the bottom of the self and also the edges right there, just that small little piece on both sides, that small little area where I added those notches. And also you should do self with self and then the lining with the lining. But this is what the bottom part should look like. And then you're also going to do that little side piece on both sides. You're going to sew that. And your self and your lining pieces should look like this. This is the side opening. This is the side edges near the leg opening on both the self and the lining. And once you're done with that part, you're actually going to move on to clipping these. So I'm clipping the top of the self and the lining from the front part, and I'm also clipping the self and the lining
from the back part, and we're going to add elastic to those top edges of the back and the front part. And always remember that you have to add the elastic on the same side for both areas, for the entire swimsuit actually. So you're going to add elastic there and elastic here as well. So just remember to do it on both sides on the same side. And I'm actually using an overlock machine that has like this added adjusted elastic kind of like holder, but basically it's an overlock machine just with an elastic attachment to it. Sorry, I couldn't find the word. But anyway, I'm just adding it right on the top where I showed you guys, and that's actually the top part of the swimsuit, near like your chest area. So that's where I'm adding that elastic in. And we're going to do it for both sides. Once we are done adding that part, we're actually going to move on to adding the elastic on the boob opening sides, for both sides. And this part is a bit tricky just because this middle section that's curved, we have to be careful when we're adding the elastic to make sure that we don't skip, or that the machine doesn't skip, so that we don't have to unsew and sew everything back on again. So just kind of I try to sew this part slowly, but that's the middle part I was talking about, and that opening, that side boob opening, which looks really, really pretty on. But again, just do it really careful once you're sewing that elastic on that area. And once you're done, it should start to look like this. And once you're done sewing that side boob elastic part, you're actually going to move on to sewing the straps. And basically we just sew it on the inside, and then we're going to flip the swimsuit inside out. But you're supposed to sew them right there at the top, and we just use a single needle to do that. And it should start to look like this. It actually came out really nice. I love it. I love how it looks. Guys, look how this is coming out. It is so cute. It's exactly like the one on White Lotus. Almost done. Has that opening here, opening here. I think this is the hardest part to do. So tiny. And once we're done with our swimsuit, all we're going to do is just add a little bar tack or like a single needle to just close up the opening at the bottom of the swimsuit, and it should come out nice and clean like this. And once we're done with that, we're just going to press it and then move on to making the cover up. And for the cover up, I just got some mesh fabric with spandex, and all I'm doing here is just closing it up on the side with an overlock machine. You can also do this with a single needle if you wanted to. I like how it looks with the overlock machine. And then I'm going to use the single needle just to add some of these pleats on it. I just did 2 pleats so that it can have that pretty like effect in the front once you put it on the hips. And this is the final result of the swimsuit and the cover up. I'm obsessed with it. It actually looks really, really similar to the one on White Lotus, so I'm really happy with how it came out. And look at that high leg opening and also the side boob opening. Like, I love how that looks. Came out really nice and clean, and that's our clean finished swimsuit. That's how you get that look, and it just honestly, look how clean that looks. It looks so good. I'm really happy how it came out, and I hope that you guys can make your own. Okay, so I finally finished the swimsuit and the sarong cover up. So basically what I did was, here's like the side opening, the like slash boob opening, and the high leg opening all the way up here, just like on the Jacquemus one. And I did add a little bit more coverage, but I'm sure that once you put it, it probably goes in more like a thong. So that's that. But I can also make it more of a thong if I wanted to, or if you want to. And then this is the sarong, the cover up. Basically all I did was just add 2 little pleats here so that it creates like this like cute effect here, and I just sewed it all the way to here, and then I left the leg opening here, just like the one on the show on White Lotus that Chloe is wearing. But overall, it came out pretty good, I would say. But yeah, that's what it is. And the back is the same, front as well. The color, I tried matching the color as much as possible. I think I got this one down, but this one might be a little bit of a darker pink. But on the show, I know it's like a baby pink. I did add, what's it called? I added elastic all around the leg, all around here, here, and the back. And I just added these tiny little straps here, which is how it's on the Jacquemus one. But yeah, overall, that's what it looks like. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.